This video is for people who feel like they are stuck in a cycle of negative thinking without any kind of hope to get out of it. And I'm going to share with you in this video how you are going to be able to outsmart that little narcissist within you who is responsible for it. Hi, my name is Martin, and if this sounds like this is you, then stay tuned because I am going to share with you tools and tricks how I'm dealing with situations where I feel like I'm stuck in negativity, and I'm going to share that with you today. All right, so today when I was coaching a client of mine, he mentioned that he was stuck in kind of like a negative thought pattern for a few hours last night. And when we started talking about it, I was like, okay, how can we figure out a way for them to stop those negative things? And there's a couple things that are necessary in order for you to change negative thoughts and turn into a more positive frequency and turn more into like a cycle of positive thoughts. But you cannot switch from here to there within like a couple seconds. It is possible, yes, people might say, but it takes practice. It takes experience. So what I thought of is, in order for you to really change those negative thoughts, you cannot force it. If you force it, if you resist it, it's going to persist. So instead of resisting those negative thoughts, how about you look at it as if they were a narcissist? If you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissist, you know what I'm talking about. So in 2018, I was actually in a relationship with a narcissist, and it was the most excruciating experience, at the same time one of the most rewarding experiences. The most rewarding experiences because I really learned so much about myself, about life, about love, and how to deal with heartbreaking moments where you feel like your soul is shattered. Because I actually thought this is my twin flame. This is someone I really connected with on a very, very deep level. And turns out was not a twin flame, was not a soulmate. It was a narcissist. So when it comes to narcissists, there's a few things what they do. First of all, they need a victim. They cannot exist without someone who is their victim. Because when it comes to narcissists, they need to feel validated. They need to feel that they are superior, that they are, what they say and do is right and it's the truth. And they don't really give a flying F how you feel. They don't care about how everything turns out for you in the end, as long as it's fine for them, as long as they get from you what they need. So what happened in my situation as well, they fucked up big time. Like, the way I was treated was really, really terrible. And somehow they managed to turn it and twist it into me apologizing for their behavior, me trying to convince them of my worth, of me being good enough, and all those things. And I became like the perpetrator in that sense, although I was the victim. But that is like the dynamic that is at play when it comes to narcissists and their partners. Why am I sharing this with you? Because it's very, very similar with thoughts, with negative thoughts. Or it can be if you choose to, because then it's easier for you to turn it around. So let's take negative thoughts. If you look at a negative thought as a narcissist, first of all, what you can do is you distance yourself. You stop identifying yourself with that negative thought. Because as long as you are identifying with your thought and believing that thought to be the truth and the absolute truth, nothing will change, and it will affect you emotionally. It will affect you in like your everyday life. But once you start taking a step back and saying like, okay, this is a narcissist. He or she, or whatever you want to call your thought, is trying to dominate, and he's ruining my life. I'm saying he because I refer to my narcissist gremlin kind of as a he. So let's say I have a negative thought here and I distance myself. What I can do is, in that moment where I distance myself, I can observe. I can start observing. I can start observing the situation. I can tune into myself. Because if you're not tuning into yourself, it's very, 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 very difficult to change that negative thought into something more positive. So once you create that distance and you start observing that thought, it becomes more easy to figure out where is it coming from? Why is it even there? Is it like a habit? Is it because of an outside circumstance that you're focusing on? Where is it coming from? If you don't know, you don't know. One of the things, and that's the most crucial part of the whole thing, is that you step by step stop giving it attention. You can observe, but not giving it attention by reacting to it, by adding more negative thoughts, by reacting emotionally to it. Because with narcissists in real life, what they hate, what they absolutely hate and cannot deal with, is when you do not pay attention to them, when you just observe them and you're not emotionally reacting to whatever BS they're doing or saying. Because they need your reaction. They feed, it's their energy. It's like a vampire, an energy vampire. They need your energy to keep going. But once you take that fuel from them, they don't know what to do. And with the thoughts, it's the same thing. As long as you give fuel to your thoughts, they will continue to come back and loop around. So, first thing is to step back and observe. The second step is to take your power back by ignoring them, or not ignoring them, by not giving them the attention they want and seek. And I know this sounds like far-fetched because it's thoughts, they're within you. But thoughts, Bob Proctor said that at one point. He said, mental activity that does not constitute thinking. Like the active thinking. And that is like one of the next steps that I'm going to get into. So stay with me. All right. So once you start detaching from that thought, and once you stop giving it so much energy and power, it's like a cloud. It will leave. Because if you're not chasing it, there's no, like the thought will lose its grip over you, and it will slowly fade away. But one thing that is absolutely important in that moment is that you accept that if the thought is not immediately going, that it's okay. And that it's okay to have those kind of negative thoughts. But that's the thing, having is something that you can also give away. If you have something, you can also give it away. The same with the thought. If you have a thought, you can put it away. But you have to also make a choice to do so. And very often when it comes to negative thinking, we are so used to it. We are like in our comfort zone, and it's become a habit that we think negative thoughts and that we dive deeper into it and then talk to people about it and then write like a song about it or whatever, but not like transform the energy. It's so important to transform the energy and then put new and positive thoughts into your mind. And that is the last step that I want to share with you today. It's that you really need to make a decision and say, I'm gonna stop following that thought around like I'm a little puppy. Okay? You have to really make that choice. You have to start saying stop to yourself. That's one of the things that I've been doing when I was like in really negative kind of thinking pattern. I just closed my eyes and I just told myself very loudly and very like with a lot of power. I just said, stop, Martin, stop. This is not the path I'm going to go down. I'm choosing a new path. I'm choosing positive thoughts. And then I started looking for positive thoughts. And now you might ask, well, where do I find them? Within yourself, but also without yourself. You can look around and ask yourself, what is one thing I appreciate right now? What's something that's beautiful around me or within me? Look in the mirror and find one thing that you like about yourself. If you feel like that's too far for you, you're not there yet, what you can also look for is colors. Put your mind to like, give your mind a challenge and say, like, look around the room, then close your eyes and just pick any color and say, okay, what things do I remember that have the color red? And then go with a different color. Because that way you start to choose different thoughts, even though they're not important thoughts in that way, but they help you shift your focus. And shifting your focus without it, you're gonna keep looking for like the negative thoughts because, well, what else are you gonna do? So it's important to shift that focus and make that conscious decision to think different thoughts. All right, I hope this video helped you if you're struggling with negative thoughts. I know it can be a challenge to get out of that cycle. But if you implement what I shared with you, then I'm sure that it will become easier and easier and easier for you to deal with that narcissistic gremlin, how I call it, and get into a more positive thinking flow in the end, and that will also affect how you feel and what you're going to observe and experience in your life. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please hit subscribe and like this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. All right, lots of love, big hug, talk to you soon.